Your understanding of that final sequence?
They said it came from New Jersey at that point. When it got to be a clock issue, they make the call from there. I was initially upset because we stopped the play. We got the deflection, so I was upset that happened. And then obviously when I heard the explanation, Frank was a little more upset than I was. It's a tough rule. I was unaware of that rule, but there's a lot more that goes into the game than the last play.
Yeah. What did you think was the difference as you built the lead, and then of course they come hurtling back in those final couple minutes?
Well, it felt like we started playing as if we had won the game a little bit, and there's teams in the NBA are always they're going to get they're going to go on a run, and they get dangerous when they're in survival mode. The players in this league are too good, and a couple times, which was on us, we didn't communicate to our players. There's a certain time where it's score, how much time's left in the game, that we're okay with giving up contested twos, and we don't want to double anymore. So we're in our normal defensive principles, and they hit a couple threes, which got it close, and that was on us to get that information to them sooner than that. But they give them credit for hitting some tough shots, and then on offense, we started stalling out, wasting time, or trying to use the clock, which is good, but then ended up forced into bad shots because we weren't attacking the paint and making the extra pass. Good thing I don't think I could hear you if.
You go back 6 weeks to Orlando, and that was a really rough night for Brooke. He was very upset. What kind of growth do you think he's made personally since then, and why do you think he was able to be so effective tonight?
Well, he's really, really good, really talented, and with the way that we play, sometimes he doesn't get the same opportunities as he's gotten before. But he did a really nice job tonight of establishing the block for us and getting down there and scoring in the paint, which is something we went into the game, as part of the game plan was him. Let's make sure we get down there, and because we felt like he had an advantage on the block down there, and to give him a lot of credit for sticking with it all game long and continuing to bail us out and to. To hit big shots and knock down a couple huge free throws for us at the very end.
Luke, how's the chemistry coming? You have so many new guys coming in. You have Travis, you have Caruso, guys that maybe lineups you haven't played with Isaiah yet. How do you think the chemistry's coming? And then also, go ahead.
The chemistry is great still. The locker room chemistry is great. Where it's tricky is the continuity. So it's not like it's more of the limited amount of plays we can call, or if we are kind of scrambled and guys are in different spots, and we try to call a play, then it takes 8-9 seconds for some people to explain to other people where they're supposed to be. So that's where the struggle is. But the actual chemistry, as far as the energy of the group, is great still.
Right, that's what I was getting.
Luka, Brooke was really efficient inside tonight. Is it tough sometimes to get him the touches? I know you just alluded to this, but if Julius is playing more in the paint and you need him to space, how do you go about also getting him paint touches instead of just shooting a lot of threes?
Well, that's part of it. Julius is more of the dynamic roller. Sprints the floor as fast as anybody in the league. And we'd like to have that floor spaced, and Brooke is the one who knocks down threes at a higher rate. So a lot of times that's how it works out. But we still want Brooke every time. With him, our rule is any time that he's the big that's leading the pack, we want him to go post up because he's so talented down there. We feel like we can really hurt teams. And him and Zoe have actually had a nice connection for a while with that over the top pass. It's unfortunately the two of them have been hurt a few times this season, so we haven't seen a ton of it. But when they are playing together, we normally get one or two over the top passes a game. But yeah, we try. We would like to get him some more touches down there on the block.
You guys went down by 15 points pretty early there. What were you seeing that caused that?
The 15 in the first half, you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
We weren't engaged in the fight. They were playing more physical than we were. They had 22 points in our paint in the first quarter, which that just means that they're attacking the rim. They're being the aggressors. They're getting what they want. We're not keeping them in front of us. And then when we started to make some substitutions, the energy, the flow of that started to switch. And it was kind of like the first quarter and the second quarter were just the exact opposites for each team. And then we had 22 points in the paint in the second quarter. We started becoming the aggressors. But for whatever reason, we started the game, and they were just more physical than we were.
Lonzo had a couple of chase down plays in transition, including the one strip on, I think, Isaac. Just what is that something he's been doing all year? And then when just how do you react when you see that?
That's just a winning play. He hasn't been doing that all year, but when he plays, he makes winning plays all over the court. And that's just, that falls, to me, that just falls in that category of doing, making little plays like that end up, in a 1-point game being the difference. So it's one of my favorite things about him is the fact that he's always making little plays that, as coaches, we call winning plays.
Luke, we saw Isaiah and Lonzo play together a little bit in this game, and Isaiah kind of playing off the ball. Can we expect to see more of that as the season winds down?
Yeah, they were really good together, and they've been good together. It's you get two point guard minds out there on the court, and when we get the spacing the right way and we're able to get stops and play at our pace, it makes us very dangerous because we got two guys who are penetrating and looking for everybody and getting other people's shots, and then both of them have the ability to knock down big shots. So it's a dynamic lineup when they're out there together.
Hey, Luke. Sorry if this was asked earlier. With Julius in the fourth quarter, did you just go with the hot hand and Brooke? Is that?
Julius was a little under the weather today, which obviously isn't an excuse, but it didn't feel right. So then I got him out. I was planning on putting him back in again, but we had a nice rhythm going. So one thing I'd like the players to know is if you're playing well, we're going to ride with you. And if you're used to playing big minutes and you're not getting it done, and not that Julius wasn't getting it done or had a terrible night, he still had a productive night, but nothing's guaranteed. It's how we play in that game, for the most part, is going to be who's playing bigger minutes and who's finished, more importantly, who's finishing games. You can't wait for everyone to be done and then say last question.